Hey everybody, this is Okie Twister 66. Today we're going to try and tackle the first of several different projects I've got lined out for my 2022 Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. Right after I first got the truck, I took it down to Auto Accessories Unlimited in Norman, Oklahoma. And that's where they did our spray-in Bedliner, and they also took care of the tint on the truck. So big shout out to those guys. They did a fantastic job. So today what we're going to do is we're going to try and install the APS black drop step Nerf bars. So we're going to try to get those installed on the truck, so stick around. Here's the end of the carton, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're going to install here. Thing is, this is a big long box, obviously, and let me tell you something that's really heavy. When the FedEx guy dropped it off the other day, I just happened to be home. I saw him out the window. I saw him scratching his head, so I ran down there and said, hey, why don't you just let me back my truck down here? We can put it in the back of the truck. And I've got a long driveway, so just brought it up to the end of the driveway. But yeah, it's a long, this box is very, very heavy, much heavier than the box that came. These black rails here on the ground, those are not from this truck. They're from my wife's Jeep Gladiator, and I've got another video on that installation of some steps, or actually a step rail on her truck. So, but anyway, those were light. These are heavy, so they're a little bit more substantial. I've done these side steps and rails before on a few different trucks. They're all a little bit different, but relatively the same type of installation. So I guess the best place to start here is just open up the box and see what we've got. So here's what's in the box. Obviously we've got a left and a right side rail, step, and box of hardware. Here's the box of hardware. Let me tell you, it's considerable. It weighs probably around 15 pounds. Let's see what's inside. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Assorted nuts and bolts. Instructions. Like some brackets. More brackets. Heavy. That's where all the weight's from. Brackets. Yeah, these are substantial. Here's something interesting I noticed when unpacking some of these brackets for these. If you'll notice these steps, there's one wrapped in green and one wrapped in clear. Same thing went for these brackets. These were wrapped in clear, and if you look very closely, you can kind of see maybe there's a P stamped on this one. Each one of these brackets had P. I assume that's passenger side, because the ones in green have a D stamped, and so I'm just thought that was kind of neat. Here's the instructions. Looks like there's 5 or 6 pages. Photos look good. Doesn't look too complex. We'll know when we get into it. Well, I may be a little OCD, but nothing wrong with counting and sorting and making sure you've got all the parts. So I highly recommend inventorying all your parts. Nothing worse than getting halfway through a project and figuring out, hey, I'm missing something. So be sure and check that. It just takes a few minutes. Get it nice and organized. It's easy to find when you need it. Here's what it looks like unwrapped. You can see there's kind of a texture to it. These are steel bars, and it resembles the Bedliner. So I think it's going to look great. So the drop step has 4 mounting tabs locations, 1, 2, 3, and 4. those will correspond with the mounting brackets. The instructions are really good, but basically the brackets will mount like this. And to do that, you'll be using this this hex head bolt. It's a 13 millimeter head on it, lock washer, and a flat washer. These thread into existing holes that are already threaded and in your truck. So on the bottom there's some plastic plugs. The instructions tell you which ones to use, and you can also just use a visual because there are several to choose from. So you basically pop the little plastic plugs out. That's a threaded hole, and it's perfect to install these brackets. I'm going to get my shop light and crawl underneath the truck and look at those little plug holes locations and see if I can identify exactly which ones that we're going to use. So by the way, man, I love these little these interlocking gym mats. They're perfect for crawling around on the ground underneath the truck. So I'm underneath the driver's side and of the front, and these are the two little plugs that we'll remove, and those are threaded. That's where we will attach the front bracket on the driver's side. Here's what it looks like. I've got the bolts started. They're just loose. I'm going to go ahead and just get those finger tight. That way there's still a little bit of slack in there, wiggle room for adjustment once we get ready to put the steps on. I've got all 4 driver's side brackets installed. They're loose. Got them hand tight. So that way when I get ready to mount the steps, have a little wiggle room. Fortunately, I've got a motorcycle lift, and it's perfect for this application. I can gently raise it up into place, insert the bolts, get everything a little bit snug, and we're good to go. To mount the steps to the brackets, you need the washer, the hex bolt, and it's one of the nylock nuts. So this is a 16 millimeter head. This is a 17 millimeter. All you have to do is just line up the holes, and there's two bolts on each bracket. One on the top side and one down below. Get those loose, make some adjustments. Like for example this, I'm going to need to raise this up a little bit to make it level from side to side. Kind of dangles a little bit, so we'll get them snug, take a level, put it on there, make sure it's level, and then tighten them down. I use my handy dandy little racing jack. It's lightweight and easy, stays out of the way. To just lift the edge of that, put my little level on there. So we've got it level from side to side. Now it's time to go ahead and get those bolts snug. So there it is, driver's side all mounted and in place. Man, I really like it. It's solid. I love the way it looks. The hardware was great. The instructions were really good. Everything fit like it's supposed to. It looks excellent. So now all I need to do is finish the passenger side and then get a little daylight so I can get a better picture and some video for you guys of the finished truck. So we've had rain the last couple days. It finally stopped, so I'm finally able to get a few pictures. There they are installed, the APS black drop step Nerf bars on my 2022 Chevy Trail Boss. These were not very difficult to install. Everything fit perfectly. The hardware was fantastic, so overall I give it a big thumbs up, and I really like the way they look on the truck. And by the way, all this rain we've been having, they've got good grip in the wet. So there they are. Let me know what you think. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit me up with some comments, and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, this is Okie Twister 66 signing off. Have fun, be safe.